I see the FBA book business. When I first started, I didn't really have a good grasp of sales rank or sales history or being able to tell the difference between a book that was going to certainly sell in the next few months and one that was definitely not going to sell and become a penny book and not be able to make much money off of it. I used to not have a problem getting 5 million to, well, even like 3 to 8 million ranked books. And I was buying way too many of them in the first probably, I don't know, 6 months, 5 months of doing this, when I was doing it barely even sourcing. But I sent in a lot of books that hundreds of books that are not going to sell anytime soon. As I got better and better, then I started to see, as I became more comfortable finding books that were selling, I started to get a better picture of how this business works and how you can build up your inventory and what is the point of building up your inventory. Books are different than other things like toys or groceries or whatnot. Things that, shoes, a lot of these other items that will sell really quickly. A lot of other FBA people that don't do books like to see their stuff sell within days or weeks of it hitting the warehouse. So they're always constantly sending in new things because they don't want it sitting there for very long. Also, a lot of the stuff they send in is larger, so it costs more to store month to month than a tiny book, which is about a penny to 2 pennies a month. So even if you have 2,000, 1,000 items, it's not going to cost you very much every month to store them. The great thing about books is, while a lot of them, majority of them will not sell immediately, as in, let's say, within the first 2 weeks, many of them will sell within the first 3 months. Depending on how the books that you're sending in, you're probably going to have, depending on it, anywhere between 10 to 20% turnover of your books within the first 3 months, I would say. Hopefully. It varies, maybe it's lower for some, maybe it's closer to 5%. But that depends, it depends on how many books, long tail books you're sending in, and if you're sending in books that are actually going to sell. So I've gotten a little better about this. What I've realized is the books that have the lower sales ranks that are selling more copies a month are over here, represented by the 0 to 3 months, which is the larger stack. Probably more of your books should be, not necessarily should, but I suggest should be in this stack, so you can have those sales going on consistently every. The books a lot of the books you send in are going to sell within a few months. They might not go for that great of money, probably under $20. And depending on how many books you send in that are in the $9 to $13 range, that they might be lower value-wise. But anyway, so a lot of the books you send in are going to sell. This represents my sort of my stack and how a lot of my books are selling. I mean, a good amount are selling within the first 3 months. And now this represents 3 to 6 months, which is a smaller stack, but still a good size, so that 3 to 6 months out, you're having those books you sent in 3 to 6 months ago selling. And then so forth as you go down the line. So these books you sent in 6 to 9 months ago, they're going to sell in that time frame. There's a little bit less of those. These are going to sell 9 to 12 months, a little bit less than those. Then these, 12 months plus, could take 12 months, could take 18 months. I've sold books, a book that took a year. I still have some that I bought over a year ago that have not sold yet. And some of those, probably a good amount of those, are because I didn't know, hadn't really figured out, which books to buy, and I wouldn't buy those books now. Hopefully I won't have to dispose of them. Hopefully they can sell at some point. The concept here is that your efforts compound. Some people would say the bad thing about books is that they take too long to sell. Well, I say, and many booksellers say, the good thing about books is that they take long to sell, and they cost hardly anything to buy, and the books that take long to sell tend to bring very, very high rates of return or returns on your investment. So the books that are going to take 6 months and out, and especially these books, should be bringing you easily over $20 in profit, hopefully much more than that. Hopefully $30, $40, $50 in profit. And hopefully you spent $1 or less on those books. Now, if you spent $3 on them and you made $30, you still made 10 times your money. That's still great. But the point is that you build this up. So as this diminishes, you're going to keep on plugging that away by sending in more. And that this diminishes, you keep on stacking them up. So these will take a little bit longer to sell, of course, these, but you'll keep sending ones in that'll fit the time frame there, and you can have a steady stream of sales. So basically, it's the concept of your efforts compounding. So imagine you built up 5,000 in inventory, which is my next big goal, to hit 5,000, which is half of what my storage limit is. Then I'm probably going to be hitting, my estimate would be hitting at least over 10 sales a day, probably closer to 20 sales a day. I could be wrong, but we'll see when I get there. But some would say, well, why do you want to have 5,000 books sitting there paying a penny or two a month on them? Well, because a lot of them will sell within a few days, a few weeks, just a couple months. So those we don't have to pay very much on. And they'll profit a little bit less. These will sit a little bit longer, but you're still only paying, 3 to 6 pennies, or rather anywhere between 3 to 12 pennies, etc. You do the math. 12 to 18 pennies, or 6 to 18 pennies. So as you go down here, you're going to pay a little bit more, but even over a whole year for a book, you spend 12 to 25 cents. But these are going to go, as you gradually go up here, these should be going for more money. And a book that I sold in the first few days of February was from October of 2014. It took about a year and 3 months to sell. I don't remember how much it sold for. I'd have to look. But even if it was only a $10 book and I paid hardly anything for it, I still made profit. But once again, I recommend, and I now am more focused on these long tail books, bringing in money and being sure that those books are going to sell for good money. So you compound your efforts. You start here on day one, and then in 12 months, all of this will have grown significantly more. So when you get to 12 months, you're selling the books that you bought in day one for good money, plus the books that you bought only a few weeks ago or a month or two ago, so that your sales are not just newer books. Your sales are books from months ago or a year and a half ago. So the books that you bought a year ago are helping supplement your daily sales, weekly, monthly sales, so that you're not always relying on the newer books that you just bought. That's kind of the concept, that you pay a little bit each month for the books to store them, but you make a lot of money off of them down the road. And also the great thing about this is it can be a steady stream of sales. So if you work hard for a whole year and then you say, I want to take an entire month off. I want to go to Italy, or I want to go to South America, or I want to go to Alaska, or wherever you want to go for a month. I want to travel the United States, and I don't want to do the business at all. I just want to check into Amazon, that type of stuff. I'm not going to buy, not going to source, not going to list, not going to ship. Take a whole month off, and your books will still sell, which is sort of the passive part of this business. When you go back to sending more books in, let's say you had 5,000 in inventory when you took a month off. Well, let's say that you sold 500 in that month. Well, now you're down to 4,500. Okay, but you're still selling, right? You didn't have to. Now you just have to start to go out and buy some more books to bring your inventory back up there. I mean, you could hypothetically take off 2 or 3 months. It just depends on your financial situation and how you want to, the kind of life you want to have, and that sort of thing. But it's a very front-loaded business, so you front-load it with hard work, with sending in a lot of books, and they're going to sell steadily. Unlike if you do a lot of the other FBA stuff, You make the money right away, but your rate of return or return on investment rather is not as great. Some would say, well, then I just send in more stuff. That's true. I mean, to each his own, right? But also I would say, well, I hope you like doing that, you know. Books, I love books, and I also like the way they sell. But that's a whole big debate that I'm not interested in getting into, because to each their own, right? You just want to keep on building all of this, keep growing all of these stacks. The larger the stack towards the end, the more money you're going to make. So you get kind of like a surprise big sale in a year, or every month, really, the longer you do it. If you do it for a year, you're going to start getting every month several big sales that you bought a while back. Even 6 months ago, you know, you bought something, oh, that's a $40 sale. Oh, that's a $35 sale. Oh, that's a $60 sale. That's happening for me every month now. Book I bought way back and I forgot about, and now it sells for good money. And lo and behold, I only got it for $1 or 50 cents or 25 cents or 10 cents. So compound your efforts. And if you want to take a vacation, take it. Your books are still going to sell. It just depends on what you want to do, how hard you want to work, or how much time you want to take off. You could even do it, I take a 2-week vacation every 3 months, you know, whatever it is. But that's the great thing about this, is it's consistent. Unlike, you know, if all your stuff is selling within 2 weeks, and take a 2-week vacation, no new money's coming in. You just have to be really good at saving your money, basically. So let me know what you think, if you agree with this, if this helped anyway, or gave anybody any ideas. I hope so. I think that the FBA book business model is really a great way to build up a steady flow of sales. So if you have a high, like I have 10,000 storage limit, I can imagine if I got to 10,000 in inventory, I would be selling a lot of books a month. Now some might say your inventory would be depleted so quickly, and it would, but it depends on you and your circumstances and what you want out of the business and in life, right? How much money do you want? Well, first of all, how much money do you need? And then how much money do you want to be making? Do you just want to go full tilt for years and years without taking any time off to make X amount of dollars, or just to keep making money? Are you spending all of the money? Are you saving it? So these are other big conversations and other videos I can make. This is the thing I like about it, is it runs for you. Half of the business runs for you, and Amazon does a lot, which is why they take their percentage. You know, they help you with all kinds of stuff that you don't have to hassle with, right? You don't have to hassle with shipping, customer service. You don't have to hassle with returns, anything like that, right? You know, there's going to be things that are going to happen, returns and whatnot, but Amazon handles it. So you can, you know, do the work you need to do. You can source, list, ship, and then manage pricing, right? And you can take some time off. You can build this business around your life, not have the business run your life. Because I see it with everything, and I see it with this too. People commenting about how they have no time. Well, it depends, you know. What do you want out of life? I mean, if you want to build it and you want to make $150,000 a year, and you're like, oh, well, now, you know, all my expenses have gone up with that, and I got to keep working, then it's no different than a crappy job or other business that you don't like. That sucks. I don't suggest doing that. I'm not going to do that. I think that there's a lot of flexibility with this business, and you can build it as small or big as you want, as quickly or fast as you want or can, within the constraints of your life and your situation, your circumstances. The options are there. The business is there to be built up to provide a steady stream of sales. I have now 2,100 books in inventory, and it's February after the tsunami of sales in January. And I'm getting steady sales. I'm not getting nearly as many, but it's steady. And I know if I double it, it'll be even steadier. And if I get to 5,000, or when I do, I know that February will be great. And then maybe I'll take off February next year, or whatever. I'm just saying that there's options, and that don't let the business take over your life. Use the business to make a life. I guess I can't say it any better than that. Remember, keep booking, but within reason.